E3 is days away, cannot control the hype, everyone's freaking out, Bossman is sweating because he has so much to do. Ben Moore had a stroke 5 minutes ago thinking about Blizzard.
That was a different time. That was a much, much enlightening, better, wonderful time that we had when we were concerned with nothing else but games. If you're new to my channel, I'm Magnus. I like to talk about video games, of course, both classic and new, specifically Shenmue, and anything that gets me hyped for nostalgia. If you're new to this channel and like that type of stuff, consider subscribing. I'm live right now, and I'm just kind of like wondering what's going on. So if you don't know, E3 2020 was canceled. E3 2020 was canceled due to concerns with the coronavirus. And that has to be taken seriously. Now, we understand that there's, large concerns with this situation, and I just hope that anyone affected by this situation is recovering or doing better. And my thoughts and prayers goes out to anyone who's affected. But moving on to the subject of this video, the ones who are affected right now, at least for the subject of this video, is anyone who's a gaming fan, anyone who was looking forward to E3 2020 and wanting to participate in that event, whether it's online or whether you were actually going to go to that show. Now, if you don't know what E3 is, it's the Electronics Entertainment Expo, and it's a show that's done once a year that's specifically about electronics entertainment. And the main type of electronics entertainment featured in this show is, of course, video games. Like you see the video next to me down there. Welcome, Bob. Nice to see you. Cake Man, hello. Thank you. I know it stinks that E3 2020 is canceled, but that's what we're here to talk about. It kind of get through it and just kind of appreciate it for what it was, the history that it's made for the gaming industry, and can we function without it? Do we really even need E3 at this point, especially since it's been canceled for this year? How will we proceed going forward? It'll be very exciting to hear from you guys regarding this E3. I'm going to bring up the comments so that I can see it more in front of me when you guys are talking. I apologize, I couldn't tell who was coming in the room. So welcome everyone to the room, welcome to the chat. I'm glad. Now, I first heard about E3 back in the year 2000. E3 was something that I never heard about until I looked at the video game internet websites, and I was like, oh, this seems interesting. And I actually wrote and commented on a site way back in the year 2000 called dailyradar.com, which was an incredible website that did daily updates on video games, and I absolutely loved it. And they actually replied, and they said, it's not open to the public, so you can't just show up and go. It was meant for pretty much the media and news and reviewers to kind of get you hyped for what's up and coming in the video games industry, as well as electronic entertainment in general. So Bob Blatton's saying, no, we don't need it, and yes, we can do without it. And Cake Man says, I've never been to E3 either, but my friends and I always get together to watch the shows after work. Now, the odd times that they had presentations meant that sometimes I wasn't able to watch some of their presentations, so I would cover my ears, cover my eyes, and try not to get it spoiled. But that was an incredible show that I enjoyed watching after work or at a certain time. But sometimes I was able to catch a few of the presentations live. And if they had presentations during the weekend, it made it a ton easier, of course. So E3, how did it start? Now, E3 was kind of a replacement to the Consumer Electronics Show that takes place in January of every year. Now, Consumer Electronics does feature any type of electronics, not just video games, in that show that takes place right after New Year's. It's usually the first week in January when CES takes place. But video games started to become their own giant segmented industry of its own. So in 1995, it was pretty much the first year of E3. And in that year, you featured the Sega Saturn, Sony PlayStation, you had Nintendo show up, and it was like war right from day one. And that was a sight to behold, because now it was really putting attention and eyes on the video game industry as really a mainstream medium where you could actually generate tons of revenue, billions of dollars of revenue and profit. So it was exciting, but it was also at a time when these electronic shows and all of these like show gatherings were pretty much necessary in order to build hype so that these media outlets can write in their magazines, can do whatever limited online access existed in 1995 and just really get the word out there and build excitement for whatever's coming up in the year that they're, hosting the show. But as time goes on, the show has had a lot of changes. And how relevant has it been? Well, some of the early shakeups were, that I can remember, at least in the 2000s, were when they were trying to look for a different, smaller venue for E3 because it was starting to get too big. And it was kind of an unpleasant experience in the big center where it used to take place. And when it kind of downsized, it didn't even get that much better at all. It was just kind of mediocre, and you had a lot of different studios unhappy with what space they had for presentations. So it kind of moved right back to a big show, an annual show. But going over the years, and especially building up the hype of these shows, there was something that was building that really took precedence in, I guess, the 2010s, like the 2010s and the 20-teens. And it's the fact that it has become so easy nowadays to get your whatever hype videos and hype advertising and media out to the masses. And that's thanks to the likes of YouTube, for example. Now, there used to be other gaming websites that actually had their own videos, such as one of my favorites, Game Trailers. That was an awesome video game channel. But others too, like ScrewAttack.com, I actually enjoyed as well. So different websites had different sources of videos that they could release. But even those would crumble under the large weight of YouTube, the big overlord of video, to push it out to everyone. Now, today, it's not just YouTube, but you also got Twitch showing you different forms of video game entertainment media, which I think that they do a quite excellent job when it comes to that. But all in all, YouTube is still pretty much dominant when it comes to streaming. But it also gave companies the ability to push forward the advertising that they want to do and have their own little presentations and just give it directly to the audience in a controlled setting that they want to do. Nintendo was, in my memory, like one of the first to really say, you know what, we don't need E3, kind of do their own thing, and then still build hype, just to keep it around the same time as E3, but just do like their own thing and not have to go to the show. It's a huge way of saving money, and you still build the same hype. Then you had Sony now doing it almost at a regular basis, and Microsoft. You have the big players that were always at the show just kind of saying, we don't really need to be there. And then it's almost like the excitement that you're building for this show that you needed is almost irrelevant, because heck, you guys are here watching me right now, and thank you all for joining. You're watching video game news right now. I'm giving you my perspective on this video game news, and that in itself is the miracle of today. I could sit here in my studio and say, hey, this is what's going on. and have a conversation with you guys. So that's the incredible world that we live in now. So is a show like E3 relevant anymore? Well, yes and no. My personal opinion is that if you have an annual show like that, you can build hype for everyone to have their eyes on something. It's like you might have, for example, you might have people that don't watch the Super Bowl at all. But because the Super Bowl, they don't watch football at all, but because the Super Bowl is so hyped, you have non-fans and fans alike tuning in, not just for the show, but also for the commercials and everything else it's got to feature. So you've got a large group of people that just watch it for that one central focus. And just specifically to mention, E3 is great at doing that. To get everyone paying attention to video games for a couple of days, and it's in the news constantly. You have studio after studio just hype. The gaming companies themselves, Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, and whoever else might join the fray, just doing what they want to do. But you'll pay attention because it's that time period. So it's kind of needed. But it's also unnecessary to spend the amount of money that most gaming companies spend at this point. So that's what it is. And Bob, what's football? I could honestly tell you, and I don't know if you guys will get angry with me, but I'm not a football watcher myself. Is that something I should have said? Yeah, well, there you go. I'm one of them. I like football video games. I actually played high school football as well, but I didn't at all enjoy watching the NFL. And unfortunately, I just can't get into it. But moving on. So what am I showing in the bottom right now? And it's a special moment that you're seeing, because you're seeing the announcement. You're seeing Yu Suzuki. You're seeing crazy reactions from the Game Trailers crew when Shenmue 3 was announced. This conference has the ability, when done right, to get you hyped, to get you like so excited for games. And that's why we're gonna move ahead with this topic and talk about the relevance of E3 in 2015 and what it means to me and what I hope it means to you guys. And specifically, this Game Trailers crew did an amazing job that year of getting everyone hyped. And this is why I think it's important. I'm going to kind of move this video to a specific portion, and one that was amazing. So this is Kyle Bossman talking about the disappointment of the 2015 remake
is coming
Final Fantasy
to the
VII.
PlayStation 4 in the spring of 2015, launching exclusively, mind you, with enhanced graphics. And he was shouting it like this was all great news, and then said, okay, that's it, I'm getting back on my plane. Did they like it? I don't care. Because that's what I don't think he does. I think what is so frustrating about that is that Square Enix doesn't know that that is not what we wanted. That's not gonna get us excited. When people say Final Fantasy VII, I don't agree with these people. I don't want a remaster. I don't want a remake of Final Fantasy VII. But that was nothing.
So obviously he expressed a lot of frustration for the fact that, it was a botched presentation of Final Fantasy VII with enhanced graphics. And he's like, I don't want that. So here's the Game Trailers crew pretty much watching the conference, and they're like, oh my gosh, hey Oregon Pacifist, I'm glad you joined. So you have the Game Trailers crew like not able to believe what they're watching. E3 2015. Kyle Bossman's off his chair after you saw him talking about, I don't even want a remaster or remake. He just said it. And now they're freaking the hell out. He's on his chair. Like, and I love this crew. You should definitely check out their channel now that they've got. I forget the name. Why am I so bad? Somebody knows the name of their new channel right now. Easy Allies. Easy Allies. That's who they are. Amazing, great channel. And look at how they react. Just absolutely, it's just amazing. This is what it does. It pulls you in. And this is why I believe that the E3 conference still has a place, because you have a platform that, again, gets all gamers' attention and gets them to really focus in on video games once a year. Once a year, you focus on video games. And hype and excitement. And it's sad to say this, but I mean, look at that. They saw a remake. He's knocking his chair over. You love that. And I hate to say it, like, when I saw this, I was reacting the same way too. I couldn't believe what I was watching. I actually saw this conference live too, and I was just like ready to explode. But let's hear this.
What is happening?
E3, what have you done?
Oh, jeez.
They're slaying.
What did they do at PSX? Why show the other thing?
They freaked out.
We're good.
That might have been them.
Okay, we got some indies now. We got some indies. It's time to cool off.
I can't handle
They
this.
had to cool
I
off.
can't handle this, dude.
But what's sad, and I'm sorry I didn't get to the point, Bob, but what's sad is that I haven't been as excited for E3 ever since that. I was waiting for games like Final Fantasy VII Remake. I was waiting for just like awesomeness. And every year I would watch, hoping that there would be a conference as exciting as this, and it's just been kind of meh. And then with the developers and some developers, and then some, like the main platforms weren't around for, like Sony and Microsoft and Nintendo kind of pulling out. It was just sad. It was just majorly sad, and that's what made me sad. Is just that it's just started to die down. And to be honest, this could be the first year that it kind of moves away. I mean, first of all, E3 no longer happening. But what does that mean for the video games industry? Will they not be able to show us what they wanted to show us in E3 this year? No. You better believe that the different companies were already preparing video packages and everything that they absolutely needed for E3 and specifically. You have millions of dollars invested in these different video game companies ready to advertise their games. Do you think that they're breaking a sweat when it comes to revealing what they want to reveal or show progress in different video games? No, absolutely not. These video game companies are going to take this opportunity to reveal their own little conferences, put together their own packages in a controlled setting where they don't have to deal with media outlets and a large amount of people just showcasing their game and hiring staff just to have the massive lines so that they can try the games for 10 seconds. No, they do their own press. They don't have to worry about the game companies. Let the game companies log in to the internet, see the videos, see gameplay just presented to them. And that's it. They will be able to pretty much control the industry and limit to what's shown. Sure, that does kind of hamper things a little bit, because then you have some game magazines, game reviewers. Heck, even if I were even permitted to go into E3 or had plans to go to E3, if I could get in there, now they can't have me say negative things about their next game that's going to be revealed. Heck, I can't even spoil anything. Let's say I go out there and go rogue and decide to talk about some things about a game that I probably saw behind closed doors and signed an NDA for. I can't do that. It's just not going to happen. But now it's under controlled setting. And that is why I think game companies will take the opportunity as a test run. 2020 is going to be the year of really, do we need to go to E3 next year? Because you better believe they're going to try to do E3 next year. And I think that the whole board that puts together E3 is going to have to offer some incentive to these companies to have them come, because if not, and this year is successful from a PR perspective for these different companies, what's the point? That's just kind of my take on it. So it'll be an interesting year regardless. We're still going to see these reveals, but it's going to be different for how they're revealed. Let's see. Let's see what you guys are saying. Oregon Pacifist. I was hyped for the Final Fantasy VII Remake announcement, and I'm not even a huge fan of the game. Yeah, I wasn't either. I actually did enjoy the first Final Fantasy VII when it was released on PlayStation. I played Disc 1, and then it froze, and then I played it again, and then it froze, and then I stopped. So I'm kind of glad I have some nostalgia with it, but I can actually finish the game and be totally a newcomer to that. So, let's see. Cake Man says Prime 4 came kind of close, though that one is still a ways off. And Oregon Pacifist says to Bob, I still haven't played the story DLC. Bob says, yeah, me too. The thing I was never excited for at E3 was God of War 3 and God of War 2018. That's it. After that, every game was lame. Okay. I actually, truth be told, I love the God of War series, but that God of War 2018, I never finished, which was kind of sad. I started picking it up and playing it a couple days ago, but I never finished it. It's so good, but it's just the timing perspective. And then when I started building up the hype, building up that hype train, building it up for Shenmue 3, the game of games, the game of games, the reveal of all reveals, Shenmue 3, and that E3 2015, that was it for me. Shenmue is that game that you play and hyped up at every E3 until Shenmue 3 was announced. Shenmue in itself and E3 kind of go hand in hand, because E3 was what helped ignite, at least on an annual basis, or reinvigorate the Shenmue license and the Shenmue hype. Because every E3 for many years, you had so many people anticipating, well, when's the next Shenmue gonna come out? When's the next Shenmue gonna come out? Is it gonna be announced at this E3? Oh, what's happening with Sega? Oh, did you see that tweet that Corey Marshall did where he was in an arcade and Sega was nearby or something like that? It's always hyped every year, and every year we were disappointed, but it helped the Shenmue community get noticed. It helped bring the Shenmue community some hype. That conference did a lot. And then, of course, it was that important. It was so important that it needed to be revealed for the Kickstarter. When you have the most eyes on the video game industry, and in this year, 2015, specifically Sony, you had everyone paying attention. And E3 was the conference that was able to bring us Shenmue 3. Now, Shenmue 3 is not one of the greatest games of all time, but it is one of the most important games of all time for the video game industry, and it broke several records in many cases. But it's so important to continue this series. I mean, look, they just revealed Shenmue in this, and you are having them go nuts. That's how important it is. And Sony recognized how important this announcement was because it was so intertwined with E3 that it was, of the three reveals, it was more important than the Final Fantasy VII reveal. That it was last. You usually save the main event for last. They saved the main event of their announcement reveals as Shenmue. That in itself tells you that Shenmue was and is very important. Now you're going to have all 3 DLC packages released by, I think, March 17th is the date for the 3rd DLC package. And I've got a couple of videos that I've got to edit lined up for my gameplay of the DLC, which is fun. And you guys have got to see it. I hope you stay tuned. But the fact that this was able to be announced at E3 means that E3 itself still has relevance. But it's seriously going to be tested in 2020. So, Andy 1, have you ever seen Mandalorian? I saw the first episode of Mandalorian. That's it. I'm catching up on so many other series. I'm like, Mandalorian. I watched all the Star Trek movies. I'm Star Trek. Did I just say that? I meant I watched all the Star Wars movies. And I'm up to The Mandalorian. I watched episode 1. I want to finish that series. I hear it's great. So Disney's really kicking butt when it comes to that. So what's up, guys walking in? Who's that? Streetlock Stash. What's up? Nice to see you. Welcome to the live stream. Well, I welcome everybody as well. So now, keeping up to this and wrapping up before I move on to the next thing. Because I'm not done yet. I like these live streams. I like having a chat with you guys. And I have it. I have this just for you guys. But the future of E3 is in question right now. I totally believe. Although they would not tell you that. It's just my personal belief. It's not anything that anyone else is saying. But I do think that the actual conference is important. And I think that us as gaming fans, enjoy that time of year when we get to see and salivate over the future of an industry that we love so much. And one of the miracle things actually about E3 2015 is that there were so many predictions by this crew for this conference and for these games. It was ridiculous. You have Michael Huber, who predicted that Shenmue would not only be announced, but he also predicted that that everyone would be crying around him, or he would be crying, and it's exactly what happened. Kyle Bossman did not predict that Final Fantasy VII would come out. He didn't see that coming, but he did, or at least one of them. It might not have been Kyle, but one of them said the remake won't be out for like 5 years. Here we are 5 years later when it's coming out. Called it. I don't know what it was. And even before the conference, Michael Huber said, if Shenmue gets announced this year, you may never see me again. And the eerie thing about that is that game trailers was not around much longer after that, and then they moved into Easy Allies. So at least from a game trailer's perspective, holy moly, they were right on so many levels. But it was just crazy. It was I couldn't believe it. So now moving on. So this conference was amazing. This conference was nuts. But at this point, all of us can pretty much play all 3 games. We can play Shenmue 3, which was developed completely between now and when it was announced. So you had announcement, complete development cycle, and release in less than 4 years, which is amazing. You had The Last Guardian finishing off, because that had a development cycle of damn near 10 years. Not quite 10 years, but almost 10 years. It was like 9 years just to develop that game. And then you had Final Fantasy VII, which seemed to already be in production by the time this was announced, plus 5 years, and it's still not out. And we have our hands on Shenmue 3. Now, people criticize Shenmue 3 a lot so much because it's missing this and that. But these guys did a lot of work in such a short amount of time. You can't expect it to compare against a AAA game that had 9 or 10 years of development time. But here we are. We can have all of these games in our hands. You've seen me play Shenmue 3. You haven't seen me play The Last Guardian because I actually have never played The Last Guardian. I wasn't really a fan of The Last Guardian, but I at least had it. But now I'm going to try with you guys as audience to play the Final Fantasy VII Remake demo. I haven't finished it. I played it once and I actually aired it on my last episode on this channel. And I'm going to try again. If you guys can like help me out here, because I think I might probably really need some help when it comes to playing this game. So I'm gonna bring it up, and here we go. Switching over to Final Fantasy VII. Why do I have that screen up? Hang on. It's not acting right. Come on, remote play. Work with me. Wrong screen. Alright. Sorry guys. Better now? Alright, here we go. We're gonna start with Final Fantasy VII. And I'll lower the volume a little bit so that you can hear me talk. Now I absolutely love this intro. Check it out. And the music. Holy smoke. Like, this music is nuts. I know I'm ruining it. Let's like, be quiet, Magnus. Be quiet. Just let us watch it. I hope you've seen it, but if you haven't seen it, this is what it's about. He's so rude. Like, what the hell? He doesn't even say sorry. He's like, whatever, chick. Now, I don't blame this guy because he was holding a box. He was holding, like, the box that whole time and is like, did not see the fact that he stepped over it. So, you know, he's not a jerk. He's a good guy. But, like, when I was watching this, too, for the first time, I'm like, this looks exactly like what it was on the original PlayStation, the whole scenario and the zoom out and everything. Ugh. Just brings tears to your eyes. And the logo's gonna be right there. Pop in that logo. Where is it? Where is it? There it is. Final Fantasy VII. Oh. This is why you can see why it took so long to develop this. Lower it a little bit. But you can see that this game in itself was quite an amazing experience. I don't know if you guys are getting echo, but I'm not. I lowered the volume there a little bit just to avoid too much echo. And hide it. Now, Bob, you said you were not a Final Fantasy VII because you don't like JRPGs. I never really liked. I wasn't a huge fan of RPGs, but there were certain RPGs that I couldn't get away from. Like, Final Fantasy VII was good. I beat Final Fantasy X. That was one of my favorites. But I also like Shining Force 2 for Sega Genesis, and I was just all up on it. But this isn't your typical game, like, you know, turn-based Final Fantasy. This is more action-oriented.
You're coming with us.
I'll get through these scenes pretty quick. See, it's pretty much all action, but it's got skill progression. Andy 1, I hope Yu Suzuki puts Bilo Village in Shenmue 4. You know what? He might. Depends on if it's relevant.
Hands where I can see him.
Yeah, you can't help but love Final Fantasy, right, Pop? Alright, now this has a lot of, like, a lot of stops just to try to teach you how to play the game, right? So I could use ability, focus, thrust, and then boom. So it slows it down, kind of similar to the way the game used to be. Pick that up. But it's also action-oriented based. Okay, enough of these. I hope they switch that up if they possibly could. It's just annoying. Andy 1, this game is gorgeous. I love stop time while moves, and I love those sparks from sword. Yeah, it's pretty wicked. Here we go. Yeah, I mean, everything about this game is just so clean, and they recreated Midgar, and this whole sequence, which was the original demo on the original PlayStation, was designed for this same scenario. So you're just playing the same scenario that was given to you in the original PlayStation. The ATB system is my favorite part of the A7 ATB system is my favorite part of the gameplay. I love action RPGs like River City, Ransom, and the Yakuza games. Yeah, I mean, those are fun. Now, I kind of lost track of thought of where I was going. I'm trying to read you guys' comments. Find boxes. Yes, we know. I obtain potions and all these other items. Now let's keep this game going. I like the dark feel to it as well.
So what's Soldier Boy's
I
deal?
love that they
Is he
all
one of us
talk now.
He's got balls, this, what was his name again?
Cloud Strife.
Right.
And he isn't a soldier anymore. Still, he's a professional, unlike the rest of us. I'm glad to have him.
This is a one-time gig. When it's done, we're done.
You know what? I have not played Grandia 2 at all, actually. I hear so many great things about it, but I have not played Grandia 2. I would love to play Grandia 2, especially on the Dreamcast, which I hear so many good things about, but I haven't played it. Now, where am I going? Again, I lost track of the direction.
Give it a rest.
Yeah, I was a little bit excited about playing this, but then I played it for my first time, and the nostalgia hit me, and the gameplay is so good. I'm like, I can't help but want to play this game. I'm not great. Again, this is my second time playing, but I know what I'm in for.
Wedge.
Yeah, I think I would want to play Grandia 2 on Dreamcast though. Just because I like whipping out my Dreamcast every now and then and see how it originally was, and then maybe get the Steam version a little later. There it is. Here we go. Now these were all pre-rendered backgrounds.
Get him, boy.
Back in the 90s. Okay, let's do a spell. Fire on this dog. Go to sleep. Kind of abusive. Abilities, braver, guard dog. Boom! I just destroyed this dog. That's pretty messed up. That's pretty messed up. Why would I do that? That's so harmful. Got it. Press triangle. Follow Barret. I love the music too. It just brings me back.
This way.
Sure, I have to let everybody in first, and then I go in.
Not so fast. We've got company.
Oh yeah, gee, thanks. It's like they only hired him just to be the muscle, which he doesn't mind.
Enough.
I don't even know where he's at. I'm just button mashing at this point. Alright.
Never in doubt.
Do I have what I need? Time to go. Anything else? I know there are a ton of secrets that I'm missing as well. Ton of secrets. There's just like crazy secrets that this game, that I've heard that this game has, that I just haven't like pursued or anything. But it's pretty accurate about, you know, what when compared to the previous Final Fantasy 7 release from way back when. And that's it. Now this thing's about to get exciting in a few seconds. Oh yeah, that Metal Gear Rising trick, huh? Like when you do the core of the enemies like Metal Gear Solid Rising. That game was so good too. I should probably talk about that a little later. But for now, finishing this darn demo, which isn't too long. And thank you guys for joining me this long. I totally appreciate the fact that you guys are still here. I'm like watching, trying to keep up with the comments with everybody still here in the live stream. We're going to finish this up real quick, and then I'm done with the stream. But we got to get through this first. I want to see what the developers feel is sufficient to show after 5 years. And I honestly think this is well worth the 5-year wait. But if you don't want to stick around and you want to go because I'm just playing this, I'm fine. Have a nice day. I hope you subscribe and you can make my day and all that stuff. I said my whole taglines backwards, didn't I?
In 3, 2, damn, I'm good.
Here we go.
Who's there? Door!
Door.
Oh, wait! It's over!
It's over.
That's my line.
That's my line. This is like his cliche badass moment.
He's alone! We can take him!
Yep, you could totally take me.
You've got this.
Nothing to it.
You know,
Then let's move.
I don't have much energy. I pretty much let everybody hit me, and I didn't do much with it. I'm just like, yeah, sure, hit me. I'm just gonna keep pressing that square button until I'm good to go. It doesn't matter, I guess, right? It does. Alright, are we gonna do anything? Hit that button, girl.
It's a good
Hit
thing
that
we know
button.
Someone who can get us the passcodes. Pity no one else at command will talk to us, but what can you do? And we're good.
And we're good.
Careful in there. I got this place covered.
Here we go.
You know Tifa, right?
Here we
It's not
go.
really my business, but are you guys close?
See, right now he's getting a lot of memories
Tifa and I.
that are kind of like, I guess, clouded. You know, the other interesting thing is that in the original Final Fantasy VII game, I don't know if you guys know this, but Cloud can be renamed to pretty much anything you want. And in this demo, and I guess probably the game, just because of voice acting reasons, I'm sure, his name is Cloud. That's what it is. But I would always rename him to Magnus in the PS1. Of course I would, right? Of course.
These sewer rats appear to call themselves Avalanche, sir. We are currently investigating whether they belong to the same.
I would love
group
a
that
lot of
made
you
the
guys
attempt on your life.
join me on my live streams and
Rest assured,
and all of this.
Our inquiries will not take much longer.
I would love to actually have a meetup with like all you guys one day and just have kind of like geek out and have a conversation with Shenmue or video games in general. That would be awesome. I had a meetup with James Reener and a couple of friends not too long ago, including like Dan from Console Wars, which was fun as hell. But again, I'd probably have to travel because I don't know how close all of you guys are to me, but I'm in the New Jersey, New York area. Cake Man, yes, I have played Crisis Core, made it towards the end, but actually never finished Crisis Core. And I want to finish it now. But this game, I was going to say, does remind me a lot of Crisis Core, because Crisis Core had this type of action RPG gameplay, and it's kind of where I think the rest of the Final Fantasy series picked it up from and kind of just went from that, because turn-based gameplay, I guess, was starting to get not as popular as like this action RPG type of style. So I think it made sense that Square Enix is like, let's just make most of this like action-based but still RPG to cater to both style fans and a wider audience. But I'm not really sure. That's just me speculating.
Merc? One false move, and that happens.
Well, so much for having Cloud do all the fighting. There are some places a sword just can't reach.
Andy, you're in China. Yeah, it's too far for a meetup at this point. I do have actually friends in China. Actually, one is currently in Wuhan as we speak. She's been there since the virus breakout, so she's kind of just been staying home. But she's doing well, thankfully, so. Here we go. Now we get to use Barret.
Gonna throw your sword at him? Let the man with the gun go to work. These tin cans ain't got nothing on me.
I like the gameplay on how you can switch characters. Okay. But these things are hard to dodge, and Barret gets hit a lot. He's not as versatile as Cloud. And me memorizing these patterns.
Now for the real show.
Damn. Oh my gosh, I didn't even see him. I am not good with Barret at all. But you'll see me depending on him more often than not. But I need potion for Cloud mostly. Give another potion to Cloud. Still gotta heal.
Look what we have here.
The laser security system. Great.
Those things will hurt more than your pride if you're careless. They'll cut you down to size and then some. But I'm guessing you've done this kind of thing before.
Yeah.
So I was waiting Shenmue while visit Guilin and Niao in the real life. Andy, did you take pictures? I would love to see what it looks like now.
Just keep those baby blues of yours on
You
me.
were in that area, huh?
He's a natural. Not too shabby.
All right. This actually reminds me of Shenmue 2 when you had to pass the lights and
You're doing good, soldier.
and you had to follow Ren because Ren was avoiding the lights when you were climbing the Yellowhead building.
Come on then.
This is like the same type of concept. It's like, hey, it's like don't get caught.
Pretty easy, right? Pay more attention. Just relax.
Damn it. Damn it.
Nice job, Cloud.
I probably lost
Well,
all my energy doing that. And I usually did better.
look,
But
all those things sweepers for nothing. They can wipe out a whole squad in seconds.
Not if you wipe the
but I'm kind of distracted. Here we go. Here we go. Jeez. Actually, let's give a potion to Barret. Almost full. Oh man, I forgot how to switch to Barret. Oh well, I'll fight him without
We can
Barret.
take this hunk of junk.
That hunk of junk is a heavy weapons platform. If we rush in, we die.
Is that right?
We need to hit it with magic. That should give us an opening.
Spells, fire, sweeper. I'm reading this because I'm like, what are you even saying to me?
Stop moving.
Let's put it down. Give it all you've got.
Of course. It just had to get back up.
So we knock it down again. No time to complain.
Focus thrust.
Let's try this.
Spells, fire.
Time to burn. Now's our chance. Go.
No need to tell me twice. I'm gonna enjoy this.
I'm just like bashing the heck out of it. I am just paying attention to this gameplay because this is the time where it starts to get like real intense, especially during that final fight, which I might actually be completely quiet on because I'm like, what am I doing here? Now my strategy with these things is stay behind it occasionally use magic if I have to, just to kind of give it quick hits and just pretty much pound it till it's down.
First class doesn't go into the 20s.
The hell you talking about? I mean your age, not your goddamn rank. Though for all I know, a soldier's rank could be the same as his age. Guess that makes you a 1-year-old, huh? Live and learn.
Here we go. Barrett's got a lot of criticism with Cloud, but we all know, like, later on in the game, he starts to really respect him. And there it is.
That's our target, the reactor core.
The reactor core.
Gotta set the bomb at the bottom. Let's get down there.
Now this I remember from the game.
I can practically taste the Mako in here. Hurry it up.
Like climbing down the ladders and stuff, but this took so long to get down in the actual main game.
I've been dreaming about this for years.
It like you had to fight enemies that would just randomly appear. Whoops, sorry. You had to fight enemies that would randomly appear, and the game would have to load screen by screen. And you're like, come on. Now he could just slide down a ladder and keep going. And that's just the amazing part. So this city has some kind of nuclear reactors. It's a reactor core. If I remember correctly, because again, it's been a while. How do I switch to Barrett? Right. There we go. The reactor core is stealing energy from the planet and using it to power the cities. And that is called Mako, I guess, or what they call it, Mako. But they believe that by destroying this core, you're basically going to shut off the power in the city, but you're killing the planet if you continue to drain it of its life energy. So this kind of underground group, Avalanche is what they call themselves, is really trying to save the planet, kind of like freedom fighters for the planet that wants nothing more than just to ensure that the planet continues to live on. So that's kind of what they're trying to do.
Think if we fell in, we'd sink right down to the bottom, to the planet's core.
And here we go. You know, if you like Final Fantasy VII, there's a movie that I actually have the DVD to. It came out years ago. You guys might know it. It's Final Fantasy VII Advent Children, and it's like a sequel to Final Fantasy VII. It came out after Final Fantasy VII came out, many years, but it really had, it was of course a CG movie, CG animation, and the characters pretty much look like this, and it really tells the story of what happened after all of the events of Final Fantasy VII, which is really interesting. The movie itself was okay, it wasn't great, but it's a good watch, especially if you're a fan of Final Fantasy VII.
All right, let's see if little Stamp really can bite the hand that feeds.
But I can tell you, this
Do the honors.
game
Prove to me you're the man Tifa says
looks
you are.
a
That you're
ton
one of
better
us.
Never said I
than
was. I'm just
the
here for
movie
the
did
paycheck.
years ago. And the movie looked great when it came out, and it only came out,
Do the damn job.
as far as I know, like on DVD, like on disc. It wasn't released on theaters, but it looked amazing for the time. But then I look at this and I'm like, holy crap, 3D technology in games has come such a long way, which is just, it's amazing. Of course, he's having these like flashbacks of another reality that he recognizes.
What's wrong?
I'm fine. What about the timer?
Your call, Merc.
20 minutes or 30 minutes? I'm going to do 20 minutes.
Pretty cocky, ain't you?
Because I'm pretty cocky. Bob, what year did it come out? I think in the late 2000s. I'm not sure.
Double crossing.
Final Fantasy 15, Andy, I never played it at all.
What in the hell?
I completely avoided it because I knew that I didn't want to get into a new Final Fantasy franchise. Oh no!
It's got reinforced armor plating, but the internals can be overloaded. Lightning magic.
No other option, huh?
Lightning magic. Okay. Oh, I am really not in a good way.
It's on you.
Could keep going if I heal up.
I don't have. Dang.
This is gonna sting. Hell yeah! You see the damage I did?
Keep it up.
Damn, I am not doing good in this battle. Spells. Cure. Let's cure myself.
All good.
Got it.
Anything you wanna say? Funny way to ask for help.
Gotta keep hitting them. Oh no.
Fine, on an opportunity right here.
Oh no. Cloud is dead. Spells thunder. Oh man, I'm royally failing this. I didn't do this bad last time. Jeez, I'm getting destroyed. As far as I know, Andy, it's not a limited demo. I can play it as many times as I want. Ooh, no. Items. Phoenix down. Get up. Items. Potion. Cloud. Get healed.
Gotta win this one for the planet.
My turn. Take the lead.
Items. Potion. Heal Cloud.
We gonna let this thing keep pushing us around? I don't think so.
Nope, 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 nope. Come on. Spells thunder. I was gonna do thunder. Oh crap.
The hell is that?
A barrier? Never seen this defense system before.
Thought you were the expert.
So what's your brilliant plan, genius?
It's my time to shine.
Or go down in flames.
Always did like a job.
Oh man. I'm getting hammered. Again, I'm trying, but
No point trying to run.
this is new for me. But as you can see, I can't I can't move too often, or at least use my item moves too often, because it's like I have a great. It's almost like it's not my turn, and then he could like hammer us all he wants, and that's the trick with this. It kind of makes it like RPG style. Like I can't use my abilities, but I'm buried all the way because I can keep my distance.
Damn pain in the ass. Ah, damn it. This thing is tough.
It wouldn't be much of a weapon if it went down easy.
Don't compliment the giant
I'd be reading your comments right now, guys. Sorry, but I'm trying to survive here.
If I heal up, I'm gonna have to do this all by myself. Damn it! Gotta do something about that barrier first. Gotta love it. Hell yeah, baby!
Now's our chance. Give it everything you've got.
I'm about to. Dang. Heal up Cloud a little bit.
Suck on this.
This thing.
I'm putting an end to this shit.
Ugh. I'm like using healing items like crazy just to stay alive. But Cloud is getting destroyed. So am I. Dang, I'm in the front, so I'm just getting wailed.
We gonna let this thing keep pushing us around? I don't think so. Enough with all the barriers.
Again, all these barriers.
Keep going. If I heal up.
Potion, Cloud. Where do you go?
I'm putting an end to this shit.
Are you?
Why you gotta pick on me?
This thing just doesn't stop.
Looks like the scorpion's taking a shine to you. That'll do. Damn pain in the ass. Shit. Was
Come on.
Wasn't expecting you to do jack.
Yeah, thanks for that comment regarding, you know, being safe. I'm hopefully healthy. There is one person in the town that I live in who caught it. I'm still going to work every day. They haven't closed my office, but you know, as of right now, I'm thankfully still healthy. I wash my hands constantly. Before coming in this room, I wash my hands. I wash my hands before I eat. I wash my hands when I walk through the door. I mean, I've gotten crazy obsessive with staying super clean, very hygienic, which we should be normally, right? But especially now in this environment, it's important that we all practice good hygiene and remember that, you know, even if this tragic situation goes away, it's still important to take care of yourself and to always stay clean, because it can hit you at any time. And you don't want to ever do that. You don't ever want to be in that situation. Here we go.
Need to back myself up ASAP.
Okay, it doesn't look like I have any help here. I have no more potions and I'm screwed. Oh no.
Gotta heal up. You're as good as dead.
Here we go.
It's on now. Heal up and regroup.
I can't heal up. Crap. What's gonna happen? What's going to happen? He dies again. What do I do? Oh man. I don't know what I was supposed to do. Alright, that's it. Maybe I could look that up. Maybe I'll try it again. But that was a long battle. I think I kind of wore out by then. It's almost midnight around here. I got kind of quiet during this whole session. So I even forgot where the camera was. But here it is. Thank you for joining me. Let me know what you guys think about the future of E3 and where we'll be at going forward in 2020 or 2021. Or should they have another show later in the year? Or if they'll have like a digital E3. Who knows? But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Thank you for joining me on my live stream and bearing with me throughout this whole time. But as always, like, share, and you can make my day if you subscribe today. This is Magnus, and I'm out. Good night, Bob. Good night, Andy. Good night, him. Good night, everyone else who's joined me tonight. See you guys later.